Hi all. The first two videos of the ninth module had dealt the counseling goals and strategies of primary and high school counseling based on their age-specific developmental needs. This video is all about the developmental needs and counseling strategies of higher secondary aged school students. At the end of this video, you will be able to understand the unique characteristics of students in their middle adolescence, realize their distinctive developmental needs, gain insights into how a school counseling program can be devised based on their specific developmental needs, comprehend the role of school counselors at the higher secondary school stage. The students at the higher secondary level of education is in the age ambit of 15 to 17 years and they belong to the stage of middle adolescence. Middle adolescence is also characterized with certain unique changes and distinctive developmental needs. As already discussed, there are many physical, cognitive, psychosocial and sexual changes that occur during the period of adolescence brings in anxiety, expectations and anticipations for both the adolescents and their community as a whole. But these changes are at its peak during the period of middle adolescence when compared to early and late adolescence period. For a counselor engaged in counseling, higher secondary students in a school, the most important task is to understand those changes and the developmental needs and dole out a program or strategies to help these students undergo a smooth transition into adulthood. Now, what are the developmental changes? The changes specific to this particular period of lifespan will be dealt now. The first one is on the physical growth and development. Girls at this period of middle adolescence are with a completely developed body, whereas boys are getting closer towards completing their physical development. The increase in muscle mass becomes a welcoming feature for males as they are satisfied with their bodies and increase in weight due to body fat. But at the same time, it becomes an unwelcoming feature for the females and they resort to certain eating disorders as an attempt to derive the satisfaction of their body appearance. The second most important character is that getting involved in romantic and sexual relationship. In the process of questioning and exploring their sexual identity, many teens become interested in getting involved in romantic relationship and sexual associations. While walking around the phase of sexual identity, there are chances of the individuals to get deviated from the right path if not provided with proper care, guidance and support from teachers, parents, peers and family. The third major developmental change is the struggle for autonomy. As these adolescents continue to struggle for independence, they tend to have more arguments with their parents and teachers. In turn, they don't like to spend time with family, rather turn towards their peer group. Peer pressure becomes a unique challenge at this age. Then the fourth developmental change is the brain development itself. The frontal lobe of the brain is still developing as it is the last area to complete its development. You know, the major functions of the frontal lobe like considering multiple solutions to a problem, coordinating decisions, control of impulsive behavior are all not well developed. But the students of higher secondary age with their abstract thinking ability become overconfident of what they do. Hence, they involve in risk-taking behaviors. Moreover, the changes that happen in the limbic region of the brain also becomes responsible for the pleasure-seeking behavior of adolescents at this period. Then comes the most important developmental change, the search for identity. The search for identity strengthens with the adolescents asking questions like, who am I? What should I do in my life? In an attempt to answer these questions, they start to explore social and political issues, career options, religious and philosophical thoughts, and so on. They also begin to set long-term goals and show a keen interest in moral reasoning. The age ambit of higher secondary school marks just one stage before the final transition into adulthood. This is a period wherein a student is supposed to decide his or her path in the academic career as well as in their vocational arena. Few developmental needs of higher secondary school aged students are need for explicit attention, need to establish sexual identity, need to have more autonomy, need to understand their body changes and processes, need for affiliation and belonging, need for peer approval and intimate relationship, need to explore and define the level of independence, need to decide who and what they are, need to evaluate their strengths, abilities and skills, need to explore boundaries of acceptable behaviors, need advisement to pursue academic and career goals. These students, as already told to you, is characterized by tremendous physical changes, hormonal fluctuations and psychological alterations, which in turn causes mixed feelings of promise, excitement, frustration, disappointment and hope. It is also the time of discovery of who and what they are and what the future holds for them. In such a state, the role of counselors does have a significant impact on these students in channelizing their energy towards an ideal path. So the counselor's foremost task is to help these students navigate the period of middle adolescence by accomplishing the developmental task specific to this period and have a smooth transition towards the next stage of lifespan. Now let us see what are the counselors supposed to do for the students within the framework of the counseling program. First role is help the students accept their changes in the body. Reassurance to be provided to them to realize that the physical changes and the emerging sexual identity are just a common and normal phase of healthy development. Next major role is to help the parents and teachers to maintain open communication. Open communication between the student and their significant others is very much essential for developing an identity for the adolescents. And also the counselors should set clear limits with reasonable expectations. For the student to realize their potentials and use their autonomy in the right way, the counselor should help parents and teachers to set clear and reasonable limits. And limits is just something that provides a boundary for them to grow and function. Expand the opportunities for our adolescents to exercise their independence becomes another task. So the counselor should formulate events or programs to be handled by the students and allow them to take up the responsibility in conducting those events. Help them to get involved in the decision-making process. For this, a counselor, by realizing the student's desire for independence, should monitor individuals getting involved in risky behaviors. As a way of channelizing their drive for autonomy, make them get involved in certain decision-making issues of the school. The last task of the counselor is to facilitate others to honor the student's individuality. As the reassurance that the students get of being respected as an individual gives them hope for identity formation. So the counselor should help others to honor the student's individuality. With the specifications of the outcomes of school counseling for the higher secondary aged students, the process of counseling as specified in the previous section can be of individual counseling, small or large group counseling, motivational lectures, interactive workshops and trainings, assessment of personality and aptitude through standardized test, guidance for career choice, etc. To sum up the whole of the 9th module. This module had taken you to understand the characteristics, developmental needs of school students at 3 major levels of schooling, namely primary level, high school level, and higher secondary level of education. Besides these, the module also speaks about the role of school counseling in impacting the lives of these students in a better way. So as of now, bye from you. Meet you in another module. Thank you.